Now for our feature story of the day. U.S. states lead in the strategic Bitcoin reserve creation. The million-dollar question becomes, will Trump deliver on his Bitcoin promise? And also in headlines, check this out. The United States of America is turning orange. So far, 29 states have officially proposed Bitcoin-related bills. So you already know. And as shared here also, North Carolina to buy up to $2.6 billion in Bitcoin if the bill is passed. Nobody is bullish enough. It's going up forever, Laura. So yeah, let's break this down and let me know. Where do you think the Bitcoin adoption will come from first, from the state level or from the national level? I think more common sense tells me at a state level, as there's less barriers and obstacles to jump. But nonetheless, I hope it happens in both levels. But here's the latest. Nearly a third of the U.S. states are venturing into the financial frontier, once considered to be completely unthinkable, which is creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Bitcoin for the enemies. Bitcoin for the Treasury. Bitcoin for the Kennedys. Send it. And while the U.S. President Trump's vision for national digital asset stockpiles is developing, U.S. states are not waiting around, nor should they. Inspired by the success of other countries like El Salvador, shout out Bukele, the unprecedented support of Trump has shown for the industry they are charging ahead with their own bold initiatives. 16 states now considering Bitcoin as part of their investment strategies with legislation to allow public funds to be allocated to such digital assets already under discussion. States like Arizona, Utah, where the bill has already passed, committee approval, a vote in the chamber is right up their alley, bringing the idea of a Bitcoin reserve even closer to becoming a reality rather than just a distant Final Fantasy VII. How many of you guys get that one? Let me know. The case for countries and states embracing the strategic Bitcoin is becoming more tangible as momentum builds in the U.S. following Trump's inauguration as the new president, aka our new POTUS. In his first address to the sector February 4th, we had David Sachs exploring the potential Bitcoin reserve, and he said, would be one of the first things we are going to look at. Now that's a blackjack. In the early days, President Trump signed an executive order creating a task force to shape the U.S. digital asset policies, fueling optimism for the widespread crypto adoption. And also he said he would fire Gary Gensler, in which he did officially resign and got replaced with the Nipponator. The group has 6 months to deliver the roadmap, which could define the sector regulations and digital asset investment guidelines, along with a potential groundbreaking proposal like a national Bitcoin reserve. So the U.S. states are getting quite serious about Bitcoin. I mean, this map speaks volumes. You can see virtually the entire country is becoming Bitcoin country. So only a matter of time. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know how they started like becoming more open to, I like to refer to it as cannabis. I don't like the propaganda term marijuana. So I refer to it as cannabis. But remember, like on a national level, it's like always illegal nationally, but then the states started adopting it and making it recreational or medicinal, kind of similar like now with Bitcoin. Like eventually every single state's just going to embrace it and it will become a strategic reserve asset. It'll be on the Treasury. It'll be in the sovereign wealth fund, the pension funds, some way, some form. It'll be adopted. However, from a national level, it may take a little bit more time. Trump needs to move on it. They claim they're investigating and looking into it. But I mean, the longer you wait, the more you're going to get left behind. And to me, that's just some common sense. But you let me know your thoughts. Reflecting on the excitement of many Bitcoin advocates, Eric Trump shared the following on February 5th. Feels like a great time to enter the Bitcoin. Reminds me of Enter the Dragon. Rest in peace, Bruce Lee. And advocates for the strategic Bitcoin reserve argue that such an investment could serve as a powerful hedge against inflation, of course, and currency devaluation. While the central banks can print fiat currencies at will, Bitcoin's fixed supply could help protect the country's wealth from the unusual risks associated with currency depreciation. And after a strong surge, the price of the Bitty and other cryptos reversed course in the early weeks after the Trump administration. Initial enthusiasm gradually gave way to really be substantial work remaining before any significant progress could be made. Quoting them here, we have reached a point where there needs to be some actual government purchases, likely led by the Treasury, for the market to be satisfied. They also say some corporations have started building their own reserves. But I have a hard time seeing markets move higher unless some sort of national or state level activity actually begins. And so the shift in the lawmakers' mindsets continue and dive in a little deeper. I mean, this is an article. The only difference is we now have 29 states officially proposing a Bitcoin-related bill, and this could ignite a $23 billion Bitcoin buying frenzy, according to the head of over at Vaneck, one of the largest digital asset management firms in the world. That's right. Lawmakers now across 29 states introduced bills aimed at establishing the biddy of a digital reserve and resulting significant state-level investments. A shout-out Matthew Siegel over there at Vaneck. He shared, "We analyzed the 20 state-level Bitcoin reserve bills. If enacted, they would drive $23 billion in buying, or $247,000 of the bidding. And that doesn't even include the $1 million proposal from Cynthia Lummis for the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the nation we call the United States of America. This sum is independent of any pension fund allocations likely to rise the legislators to move forward." So ultimately, he's saying this is a bear scenario. These bills are in Oklahoma, Massachusetts, Wyoming, Ohio, Texas, Utah, North Dakota, Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Maryland, New Mexico, South Dakota, Montana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, proposing various levels of the Bitcoin allocations from the general funds, stabilize the reserves in the state treasurer's accounts. That's a blackjack, baby. Some states are considering significant investments, with Arizona proposing an estimate of $8.7 billion and Florida planning a $3 billion allocation. Missouri also introduced a bill that could allocate $1.7 billion into the biddy. However, not all states have disclosed the specific funding amounts, making it difficult to gauge the total market impact. Siegel explained, for instance, North Dakota had an unspecified proposal, while other states like Pennsylvania have already seen their bills fail. Now, despite those uncertainties, Vaneck, head of digital assets, noted the following: "The $23 billion number is potentially conservative, given the lack of details," and I agree with that one. "The push for the state-level Bitcoin reserve signals a growing acceptance of digital assets in the government, financial planning. While these proposals are still in the legislative process, their passage can introduce billions of dollars into the biddy market. If the pension funds eventually join the initiative, the total investments could increase beyond the current estimates." And there you go. And if you don't know, now you know. Billions of dollars per state. We can get to 50, 100 billion. There's no telling how high the pretty little biddy may climb. Your guess is as good as mine. So let me know, fam, and welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. We got 1,900 people here live and in the flesh. It's the top of the hour. I'm going to stick around for another hour. Let's see if we can flip green. We're only 700 away. If we can flip green, we may flip this mofo into a pump watch. Anything is possible with a biddy. Yes, Missouri, I knew my state wasn't totally retarded. Amen to that. Ain't no retards there. That's a fact, Jack. Idaho in black, what the frick? Idaho thinks they do not need the biddy with all the money the Californians are bringing. Must be some forces of evil behind there, you know. I mean, we're still fighting the good fight. Let's keep in mind. Here's one of my favorite Max Kaiser quotes. "Money existed before the state. Bitcoin separates money from the state. Bitcoin kills, unalives the state." So you got to keep that in mind. The Achilles heels of the central banking cartel and the criminals that rule the world is Bitcoin. And that's a fact, Jack. Warpaint just gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Congratulations to the Dusty Hunt. Congratulations to the Mercy Tube. To Tank, to Shiza Su. Reminds me of Lao Tzu. Amsterdam, online learning in the exponential network just gifted from the Warpaint. Johnny Crypto, you've all been hooked up with a MicroStrategy membership of the channel. This goes out to you, Warpaint, and congrats all the new members of this channel. I appreciate y'all. Respect. Mega Biddy Pump.